Hi, this is Jennifer. Welcome to High Vibe Astrology. This video is going to be about Pluto entering Aquarius on January 20th. If you are new, I want to welcome you to my channel and thank you for contributing your energy and positive vibes to this group. I also want to let you know that the way I do astrology analysis is by reading the chart as an event chart drawn up for my location because I place great value on the microcosm to macrocosm connection. So just take what resonates with you in this analysis and leave the rest behind. Pluto moving into Aquarius is a very significant astrological event for humanity. It is a cycle that will last 20 years. Pluto is going to be in the sign of Aquarius until about January of 2044. Pluto transforms whatever it touches. Its energy is teaching us the right use of power. It represents the alchemical fire or the refiner's fire. And if you have not yet listened to my series on the dance of Pluto and Sedna, I invite you to do that because I assign Pluto and Sedna to the sign of Scorpio, the sign that has to do with death and rebirth, healing the shadow, doing shadow work, shamanic work, transmuting the dark energies with the understanding that we cannot be completely whole, we cannot be completely healed if there is any part of us that we are cutting ourselves off from. If we are going to radiate unconditional acceptance and love in the world around us, we first have to apply unconditional acceptance and love to the being within, to every part of who we are. And that is what I feel, that's part of Pluto's message too. Authenticity. It's not superficial or phony in any way. It is being deeply aware of who we are at the core being of our nature. So that's what Pluto's energy is bringing to humanity as it enters the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of the human. When you look at the ancient four guardians of heaven, you have the lion, the bull, the man, and the eagle. The lion is Leo, the bull is Taurus, the human is Aquarius, and the eagle is Scorpio. So Aquarius is the sign of humanity, and it is the sign that is concerned with our evolutionary unfolding, with progressing society, progressing the human family into the higher dimensions. And Aquarius also has to do with awakening. It's the lightning bolt. It's ruled by the planet Uranus, the modern ruler of Aquarius. The ancient ruler was Saturn. Uranus is the planet that has a very unusual orbit. It's practically orbiting on its side rather than, North Pole, South Pole axis. It's more like east-west axis. So Uranus is quirky, eccentric, very otherworldly, and that is the energy that it brings to the sign of Aquarius. With Pluto entering Aquarius, there are going to be upheavals. There's no doubt that there will be a death and rebirth of humanity's consciousness collectively. But it is also bringing power, Pluto, back to the people, back to the human family. And Aquarius on the high vibe side is concerned with all life, not just human life, but animals, plants, and even, beings that come from other advanced civilizations, with the understanding that we are all connected. I know I'm not alone, but I have brought it up many times, and it's what I talk about in my books, that we are not just citizens of this earth. We are citizens of the cosmos, and we will be in harmony with the cosmos to the degree that we are in harmony on this planet. Obviously, the way things look, we have a long way to go. But Pluto reminds us that there is much that has been hidden from us that will be revealed. Nothing can remain hidden forever. And it's Pluto's job to expose what has been hidden. And anyone who has gone against the universal law of reciprocity and committed crimes, atrocities against life will absolutely be exposed. The fact that Pluto is conjunct the Sun in the fifth house holds great significance for us as well. Pluto moving into Aquarius is powerful enough in terms of shaking up and waking up humanity and revealing things that have been hidden in the deep, dark world of the subconscious realm. It was conjunct the Sun at the Capricorn new moon on January 11th. In this chart, it's conjunct the Sun, and for the Leo full moon, it is also conjunct the Sun. So the collective consciousness is going to be diving deep into issues that are related to humanity's forward evolution and definitely thinking outside the box or beyond the paradigm, the current paradigm or current narrative as it has been presented to us for so many years, thousands of years. So we're breaking out of the chrysalis in many, many ways. Pluto's energy always involves the underworld, and we want to create a sustainable heaven on earth, or where all beings on this planet are experiencing peace and prosperity. And that's what I talk about in, the mini series on Pluto and Sedna, because in each chart we have a Taurus North Node and a South Node in Scorpio. And in each chart, one of the luminaries, either the sun or the moon, is conjunct that South Node in Scorpio. So we are having to clean out the ancient gunk that has prevented new life from really taking root and being sustainable. So if you think of it as, you wouldn't want to plant a new tree in soil that has been infested with some sort of parasite or worm that is going to eat away at the roots and prevent that tree from reaching its full glory. So it's similar with Pluto entering Aquarius and conjunct the Sun. It's Pluto's job to clean out, cleanse, to purify with the alchemical fire any energy that would eat away at the roots of the sustainable peace and prosperity we as human souls in a physical body are here to anchor in. What every human being on this planet truly wants, and what we all have in common, is that we simply want to get on with life, to live in peace, and to be able to thrive rather than merely survive. In order to do that, to really create sustainable peace and prosperity for humanity and for all beings on this earth, there has to be a cleansing process. And if there's anything in the underworld that has been hidden, that has been undermining the process of sustaining life, it's got to be cleansed and rooted out. That's the process that's underway right now with Pluto in Aquarius. Aquarius is the opposite sign of Leo, and Leo is ruled by the sun. So this does involve rooting out whatever has undermined the purity, the innocence, the inner child, being able to live in the moment and respond from the heart in ways that enable us to thrive. So whatever has undermined that over the past age of Pisces, these things are going to be exposed by Pluto's energy. And it may feel like we're going through hell in order to get to heaven, but really Pluto in Aquarius is epitomizing the energy of the truth that will set us free. You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So the truth may hurt as it is revealed to us, but ultimately, this is the energy of freeing humanity from what has been holding us back. Unbeknownst to us, there are many aspects that we have been unaware of that are going to come to light. With Pluto in the opposite sign of Leo, ruled by the sun, it means that we have to balance heart with intellect. Leo is the heart, Aquarius is the intellect. And wherever we've been out of balance between heart and mind, between our childlike, intuitive, or spontaneous response and planning things out, or intellectualizing heart essence and emotions and feeling, that's got to be brought back into harmony and balance. Aquarius on the low vibe side is about science and technology to the exclusion of a heart-centered life, or allowing the heart to guide us, allowing the inner child to guide us. So these are the aspects that must come to light and be healed, be brought back into harmony. It is also beneficial, very beneficial, that this Sun-Pluto conjunction is making a trine to the moon at 5 degrees of Gemini. And that moon is also conjunct Sedna, the planet that I assign to Scorpio as the higher octave of Pluto. Higher octave because it is a planet even further away from the Earth and our solar system, beyond the Kuiper Belt, than Pluto is to the Earth. And any planet that is farthest away is the planet that holds greater power on our entire civilization. And I assign it to Scorpio for the reasons that I've already detailed in that mini-series on the dance of Pluto and Sedna. So I hope that you will have a chance to tune into that. The fact that we have Sedna on the midheaven again in a prominent cycle means that Sedna is again leading the way, holding out a lifeline and saying, this is how I'm helping you get there. I'm not going to do it for you, but I'm showing you how you reach your destiny. Sedna's in the 10th house, the house of destiny, purpose, life calling. And the fact that we have Sedna conjunct the moon and Pluto conjunct the sun means that two of the higher octave planets ruling Scorpio are uniting their energy, infusing their energy with the two luminaries, the consciousness of humanity represented by the sun, and the emotional public mood represented by the moon. So I find this really powerful. And then we have Mars conjunct Mercury, how we receive and transmit information. So given the fact that Mercury is the chart ruler, because Mercury is a co-ruler of Virgo, Virgo is the rising sign of this particular chart, therefore Mercury is the ruler of this chart. I also assign Chiron as the modern ruler of Virgo. Chiron is conjunct the North Node in the sign of Aries in the 8th house. And I'll get back to that in a minute, but the point I want to make here is that all three planets that I assign to Scorpio, Mars, Pluto, and Sedna, are making a conjunction to personal planets. Mars is conjunct Mercury, Pluto conjunct the Sun, Sedna conjunct the Moon. This says to me that there is a major, major death and rebirth going on in the way that we think, in the way that we behave, in the very consciousness we hold, and our emotional responses. Sedna conjunct the Moon is reminding us that we are always connected to each other, even when we forget, even when we buy into duality or the narrative we've been fed for so very long that you have to be you're in conflict with this person. You're in conflict with that segment of society. You're in conflict with this community, that nation, that religion, that gender population, whatever. We have been absolutely gaslit emotionally by the people who put themselves in power to keep us at war within ourselves, to keep us separate from who we truly are as divine, immortal souls in a human suit. They've kept us at war within ourselves and separated from that reality, from holding that unity within us, kept us at war in our own world with each other. So now it is time for us to really take responsibility for our own emotional responses, to stand with Sedna in the sign of Taurus and say, I choose to live in harmony. I choose to hold sacred all life on this planet, the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, my own life, this earth, to recognize this earth as a living entity. The fact that Sedna is conjunct the moon means that we are finding connectivity again within our own being, and we're beginning to ask questions about what we have been led to believe in many instances. I already talked about Pluto conjunct the sun, so we know what that is going to be about, and that's a cycle that's going to last for 20 years. Mars conjunct Mercury is reminding us where we've come from. Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio, so it has more to do with the ego and with doing things, with taking a certain action to get a certain result. And that is certainly what we've been taught to do. We've been led away from simply being our divine essence and allowing that to radiate. So Mars in Capricorn, conjunct Mercury in Capricorn, is reminding us of the old paradigm and the old ways of doing things. And it is in conflict with that Chiron in Aries and North Node in Aries. It's not as tight of a square as it was at the Capricorn new moon, but it is still in a square aspect. So there's conflict there between what we've been told from the outer world, how we've been socialized and conditioned by these structures from the old paradigm represented by Capricorn. And it is in a square aspect to where we are heading, North Node in Aries. Thinking more independently, acting more independently, and healing our individuality, Chiron in Aries. Now, the fact that they are sitting in the house of Scorpio, the 8th house, this is the house of hidden matters, the house of other people's money, of inheritances, but the 8th house is also our divine inheritance. The 8th house is power, but it's reminding us where our true power comes from. It's not about having power over others or using other people or using other people's money to fulfill our own agenda and purpose. It is about getting in touch with our true spiritual divine essence and deriving our power from that and realizing that everything we experience in the outer world must come from within first. If our inner world is not in harmony, our outer world will constantly reflect that disharmony to us. And this is why it is so very important that we actually hold ourselves accountable individually for healing our own shadow and becoming whole within our own being so that we are contributing that healing in the collective. And the 8th house is certainly all about shadow work because it's the house of Scorpio. This is what I've been talking about in that video series on Pluto and Sedna. And it just keeps coming back in every chart. So, and also the 5th house energy tapping into the inner child, healing the inner child. And so here we have Mercury, Mars, Pluto, and Sun all in the 5th house. So this is energy toward being led and guided by the child within, guided by the heart. Now, the fact that Mars and Mercury are in the sign of Capricorn means that we need to look to Saturn. Saturn rules the sign of Capricorn. It is therefore the dispositor of Mars and Mercury. Saturn in the 7th house in the sign of Pisces. So what is that telling us? Saturn is the planet that teaches us about our own inner authority. It shows up by bearing down upon us from external authority and the way of the world, the way of the old paradigm, the old way of looking at and responding to time. But Saturn in Pisces is experiencing a dissolution. It is now in the ocean of consciousness. So chronology, the linear time, is dissolving. And it also reminding us that what we need to master is our own spiritual essence, spiritual sovereignty. That is how we resolve the conflict represented by the square, the tension between Mars and Mercury in Capricorn and North Node and Chiron in Aries. It is by focusing our energy on our own spiritual nature and our own divine connection. The South Node in Libra in the 2nd house is reminding us that our old ways of people pleasing and seeking to acquire material goods and resources for the sake of looking good, concentrating more on appearances, which is the low vibe of Libra. And we're looking at it through the lens of the low vibe because it is the South Node. It's the energy we've been there, done that. It's time for a change. We've already lived believing that our self-worth was somehow equated with our net worth, or that our own personal value was measured by dollars, was measured by things, material things. This is the old paradigm, boosting self-esteem and confidence, which is another 2nd house realm, fortifying our own self-worth by acquiring material things. And that no longer serves us. So the North Node in Aries in the 8th house is about us really getting in touch with our true power. And that can only come from spirit, from divine source. And when those two are in balance, then there is an infinite supply provided to us. That's why the 8th house represents our divine inheritance, because it is material and spiritual in balance. And that is why Sedna's influence is so important, because it's not about possessing other people or other people's resources to get ahead, to look better, to feel better. It is about holding all life sacred, exercising the law of reciprocity, meaning that whatever I do or say to another individual or living being or creature, I am also doing to myself, and I am also doing to the Creator itself. So the law of reciprocity is the equal, infinite give and take of material and spiritual while we are living in this world of duality. But it's being fluid with these resources, understanding that there is no limited piece of the pie that we have to grasp or hold on to. Our resources are unlimited because they come from the divine. They don't come from the government. They don't come from a bank. They don't come even from our job or any corporation. And that is Sedna's message, and it is the highest octave of Scorpio, and why I consider it the higher octave of Pluto. It is something we absolutely must understand if we are to graduate into the stewards of this planet in the way that we need to be, truly graduate from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. Scorpio matters in this chart because it is placed at the nadir. So it's sitting on an angle at the base of the chart, which is the base of operations, emotional health, emotional safety and security, the relationship with the divine mother figure, ancient mother, and the fact that we have Scorpio on the taproot or the nadir already representing our ancient lineage, ancestral inheritance, and the fact that we have Scorpio there, which goes deep into our origin and essence, in search of our authenticity. That's really what Scorpio's about. It's kind of a double signature of going deep within to determine who we truly are and where have we come from? What is our origin? So Scorpio is diving deep into that subject matter, and the fact that we have all three rulers of Scorpio connected to personal planets having to do with how we receive, transmit information, are being transformed literally, like the caterpillar into the butterfly, coming out of the chrysalis and seeing things as if for the first time. Scorpio at the bottom of the chart does matter. And of course, with Scorpio there, we have Taurus on the midheaven. And this is the same theme that has been playing out with the discovery chart of Pluto, the discovery chart of Sedna, with the south node in Scorpio, north node in Taurus, and the luminaries conjunct the south node. It's just a repeated theme of how we need to balance our hidden origins and our hidden history with who we are now so that we can unfold and evolve into our true authentic essence. Or remember, because really most of it is simply about remembering, reconnecting with that history of our true and original essence. And it isn't the narrative that we've been taught throughout the age of Pisces, because, what is natural and organic, represented by Taurus on the midheaven and Sedna calling us to that, has been attacked for so many years as if one can improve upon nature, when it is Mother Nature herself, all of its varieties and its infinite varieties. What is unnatural is AI or any synthetic method of receiving medicine, getting well. In the age of Pisces, the way of getting well was to seek help from the experts in science and technology that could provide the medical drugs for whatever ails you. And that has reached such a peak that every other commercial, if not every commercial, is selling a drug like there's a drug to cure everything, when all it does, if you read the fine print and you listen to the narrator of that commercial, they tell you all the side effects and what all it can do. It's just creating more complication. Nature's way is the simple way. Man-made way is utterly chaotic and complicated. There is no way to improve upon nature. Nature, and especially divine nature, has infinite solutions for whatever ails you. And as we look at this chart with Virgo rising, the Virgo rising lens is emphasizing the body temple, the body-mind-spirit connection. We are looking at all of these energies in this chart representing Pluto entering Aquarius, Pluto conjunct the sun, trining the moon, and all of these Scorpio energies and graduating from the low vibe of Scorpio to the high vibe. Virgo and Pisces in their opposition are complementary energies. Instead of looking at things as opposites, we just have to learn to balance the polarities and come into harmony within ourselves. So this peak that I'm talking about of seeking some improvement upon nature, which is the simple, efficient way of healing. This speaks directly to the Virgo ascendant, unifying body, mind, spirit connection and reinforcing the infinite well of possibilities, even when it comes to curing something as dire as cancer. Is cancer truly a fatal disease, or is there a cure that hasn't even come to the collective conscious awareness? Or have there been cures throughout the age that have been kept hidden from us? All of these things, I feel, are going to come into the light of our conscious reality. And there will be natural ways of healing, or what seem to be miraculous ways of healing, that have to do with spiritual science, spiritual technology, the natural technology that comes from within the body temple has its roots in our ancient origin, which I feel personally is our divine spiritual essence. Wherever you stand on this issue, I feel that all of us will be surprised in many ways by advances that come about that are directly related to health and well-being and healing the body temple. Aquarius is always going to have an element of surprise to it, and Pluto entering Aquarius will undoubtedly hold something from the hidden realm that is surprising to us. And I feel that good things are imminent. Good things are on the horizon, especially with Pluto being in a trine to Sedna. Yeah, and with the sun being in a trine to the moon in this chart. So I think that I will leave it there. I hope that you'll stay tuned for the affirmations and frequencies. And I look forward to hearing from you in the comments section. If this resonates with you, please do let me know. And I will be back soon for the Leo full moon. Bye for now. Pluto's sun and moon for the conjunction and trine. A powerful integration of conscious and unconscious, heart and mind, leads to greater awakening within myself and those around me. Moon and Saturn for the square. Asking questions regarding past conditioning brings opportunities to liberate the heart from a calcified and guarded expression into sustainable joy. Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter for the sextiles. When I communicate from a grounded and centered heart space, I expand greater possibilities for abundance in my world. Venus, Neptune, and Sedna for the square and quincunx. The more I am able to live in the present, freeing myself from past regrets and/or future worries, the more adventurous and free my life becomes. Venus and Uranus for the quincunx to the south node. The future beckons humanity to greater freedom, prosperity, and peace, liberating all from the artificial appearance of abundance to sustainable abundance that is balanced physically and spiritually.